One Piece Chapter 1099 dropped recently, and it was certainly an incredibly exciting addition to the already amazing Egghead Island arc. The flashback that has been focusing on Kuma is one that fans have come to love quite a lot. However, that is to be expected, given that Oda is a completely different writer when he tackles flashbacks in the story. It appears that the Kuma flashback is now moving faster towards the climax with each passing chapter, and the entire story might be done sooner than one would expect. One Piece Chapter 1099 made great leaps in that regard and saw to it that Kuma finally met with Dr. Vegapunk, the one-man revolution of Sorbet Kingdom. At the beginning of One Piece Chapter 1099, fans saw Kuma leading a revolution against King Bekori of the Sorbet Kingdom. As fans know, King Bekori has been a recurring character in the flashback, and while not all that interesting, is a caricature of the evil and corruption of the world government. King Bekori returned to the Sorbet Kingdom once again, and immediately decided to persist with the plan of burning down the south. As that happened, Kuma surely wasn't going to sit back and watch it unfold, and he decided to fight back. With all his might, he was able to push back and completely destroy King Bekori and his forces. This just goes to show how much Kuma has matured over the years in terms of power, but at the same time, also goes to show his determination to save the weak and the innocent, which, once again, allies with his idea of wanting to be like Nika. Kuma successfully managed to push back King Bekori and his foes and, thereafter, was forced to take the crown of the country. In reality, King Bulldog was the one who was running things and helping Kuma from behind the scenes. The one-man revolution of Sorbet Kingdom certainly did make quite huge waves, and even the 5 elders found out that Kuma was now king. Bonnie eats her devil fruit. As Kuma started making waves, One Piece Chapter 1099 also focused quite a lot on Bonnie. Bonnie is, of course, one of the protagonists of this flashback, and her life is going to be displayed to the fans in great detail as well. It appears that Bonnie has already eaten a devil fruit, the age fruit, in the flashback. Fans do not know how exactly she manages to eat this devil fruit and where she finds it. However, it appears that she accidentally ate it and gained the power to manipulate her age. Bonnie is seen controlling her powers very well, even though she is just a child in the flashback, and it just goes to show how skilled she is as a devil fruit user. At the same time, fans are also introduced to other characters such as Queen Connie, who, as fans might remember, Bonnie took the appearance off to get inside the holy land of marijuana during the reverie. Queen Connie is the mother of King Bulldog, who later dies in a series of unknown causes. Kuma on the quest for a cure. Bartholomew Kuma and his quest for a cure for the sapphire scale disease was always going to be heavily focused on in One Piece Chapter 1099, and that is something Game Rant predicted as well. Kuma is seen setting out on the mission to find a cure for Bonnie, and he goes from place to place in order to secure the cure. He visits the vast majority of the places that the Straw Hat Pirates were sent to during the time skip, and this was certainly an interesting touch and explains why Kuma sent them there. To begin with, Kuma has already had first-hand experience of all these places and the people that live there, so it makes sense why he would decide to send the crew, who he was trying to protect, to these places in the first place. Curiously enough, Kuma did not go to Amazon Lily or even come to the vicinity of the Kuja. This might be touched upon later on in the series, and fans should keep that in the back of their heads. While traveling to find the cure, Kuma seems quite beaten down because it appears that Bonnie might succumb to her illness after all. Kuma is defeated and desperate at this point, and that is precisely when he runs into Dragon once again. It is Dragon who asks him to go visit Vegapunk, who has now moved to Egghead after Caesar caused an incident on Punk Hazard, which fans already know of. Kuma then thanks Dragon and heads to Egghead Island, where he would meet Bonnie. Of course, to do that, Kuma takes Bonnie with him and decides to put her in a small box to shield her from all sources of natural light. Kuma meets Vegapunk. Quite easily, the biggest part of One Piece Chapter 1099 is Kuma meeting Dr. Vegapunk. Kuma heads to Egghead Island, and that is precisely where he ends up meeting the genius scientist. Right from the first moment, Vegapunk makes it clear that Kuma and his massive size is interesting to him, and this is something that comes into play later on in the chapter as well. The main issue at hand here is Kuma wanting Bonnie's disease cured, and Vegapunk immediately recognizes it for what it is and tells him that he can cure the disease. days. Of course, he also mentions that the cost of the cure is way too much and Kuma certainly does not have enough to pay for it. As such, Vegapunk ends up suggesting that Kuma become a test subject for his cloning program. Vegapunk wants to create an army that protects the weak and the innocent, and spreads peace all over the world. This is the army that later came to be known as the Pacifist Army, as fans know. Kuma willingly gives himself up for this project and mentions that he would even make a deal with the devil if that is what it takes to save Bonnie. Essentially, One Piece chapter 1099 set the basis for Bonnie finally getting cured and Kuma's life spiraling downwards even further after he ends up giving himself into the Pacifista project. While Vegapunk and his intentions are surely pure, Saturn has other plans, and he was seen eavesdropping on these characters. In the next few chapters, he will certainly make his presence known. One Piece chapter 1099 feels like a setup chapter for the climax of the flashback, and One Piece chapter 1100 should see the vast majority of Kuma's tragedy in regards to becoming a pacifist to losing his memories be tackled. From there onwards, the flashback won't last all that long and fans should expect the story to come back to the present by chapter 1102. And in other news, One Piece. Why the Admirals are weaker than Yonko. The Admirals and the Yonko are two sets of the most incredibly powerful people in the One Piece world. With One Piece now entering the final saga, these two characters are at the forefront of things. The Admirals, who have not been directly involved in the plot for quite a while, are now one of the main antagonistic groups, and it is clear to see what they are capable of doing and how strong a punch they pack. At the same time, the fans can now closely observe the power levels of the Yonko as well. The Four Emperors saga gave them a clear look at what the Yonko are capable of and how strong these people are. Now, it is clear for the fans to see that the Yonko and the Admirals might not be equally powerful, and the group of pirates hold a significant advantage over their marine counterparts. The strength of the Admirals. The Admirals have always been some of the strongest people in the world of One Piece, and that is never going to change. The Admirals were incredibly powerful and intimidating before the time skip, and they continue to be powerful as well as scary after it as well. Regardless of how strong Luffy and the pirate crew gets, Admirals are always a threat, and that will never change. For instance, these powerful marine admirals have caused quite a lot of problems for Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates even after they rose to the status of a Yonko crew. Kizaru proved his worth when he was seen fighting against Luffy in Gear 5, although the result of the fight was not something that he would have wished for. The admirals are certainly very skilled, and they possess incredible devil fruit powers that can be considered among the strongest in the One Piece world. This is absolutely no surprise for the fans, and on top of this incredible power, they also seem to have tremendous haki. Another indication of their tremendous strength is the fact that they possess 3 billion berry bounties on their heads, a bounty that high can only be given to a top-tier fighter in the One Piece world. For instance, Luffy currently has a bounty of 3 billion berries. However, fans must also remember that along with Luffy, Law and Kid also have a bounty of 3 billion berries, and they are significantly weaker than him. The Yonko versus the Admirals in One Piece. Oda has been saving the strength of the Admirals for quite a long time, and because of that, fans were having a hard time figuring out how strong these characters really are. However, the final saga has more than clarified their true standing in the One Piece world. In terms of strength, all the Admirals seem to be under the power level of a Yonko, and fans have already gotten more than one confirmation for that. With the end of Wano, it was clear to the fans that Green Bull was absolutely no match for Shanks, and that even from miles away, he could not help but get scared by his mere presence and back away. In the Egghead arc, a direct confrontation between the Yonko and the Admirals was observed when Luffy took on Kizaru in an extended fight. While the fight was certainly a very close one, at the end of it all, Luffy was the one who ended up delivering the final blow and defeated Kizaru for good. It was clear for the fans to see that Luffy was far from using his full power in the fight against Kizaru, and, despite that, he was the one who ended up being the victor in the fight. To make things worse for the Admiral, Luffy had already fought against Rob Lucci in Gear 5 the night before, and was extremely drained. Then, he continued to fight against the Seraphims, who fans also know are incredibly powerful. Essentially, Kizaru was not even able to defeat a weakened version of Luffy, who was already restricting himself in more ways than one. This just goes to show that the Admirals, while strong, are no match for the Yonko in One Piece, and even though they have more than enough strength to engage in combat against the Yonko for an extended period of time, they do not have it in them to defeat these powerful pirates. The main reasons why the Admirals are weaker than Yonko. One of the biggest reasons why the Yonko are stronger than the Admirals of the Navy is the fact that the Yonko have one of the strongest weapons in their arsenal in the entire story, and that is the usage of the advanced level of Conqueror's Haki. Conqueror's Haki is a power that a few people in the One Piece world are born with, and it is clear for the fans to see that it is more prevalent among the pirates than it is in the Navy. This is largely because pirates have more ambition than their marine counterparts, and in the Marines, the vast majority are simply servants to the celestial dragons. As such, pirates, who have more ambition, generally are blessed with this power. With the usage of Conqueror's Haki, especially at an advanced level, this balance can easily be tilted in the fight between these powerful pirates and Marines. Conqueror's Haki saw to it that Luffy jumped from not being able to scratch Kaido to making him fall flat on his back within a matter of chapters. This power-up is absolutely massive and can be considered to be one of the biggest in the One Piece world. The fact is that no admiral in the story has access to Conqueror's Haki in the current era. In fact, when Luffy fought against Kizaru, he only utilized Conqueror's Haki once, and that was with White Star Gun, and this attack was strong enough to knock Kizaru down. Had he used this skill from the beginning, perhaps Kizaru would have not even gotten a chance to get that far in the fight. Among the Marines, the only ones who are confirmed to possess Conqueror's Haki are Garp and Sengoku. Fans know that Garp was a free-spirited Marine and, because of that, he was blessed with this skill. Meanwhile, Sengoku is one of the only Marines in a high position who had this skill, and this is likely because he was the fleet admiral and had incredible ambition himself. Only these two characters from the Navy can be considered in the same league as the Yonko and the Legends. This also further explains why the Yonko are stronger than the Admirals. There is a position above the Admirals in the Navy, and that is the Fleet Admiral. The Admirals and the Yonko cannot be at the same level of strength because if the Admirals were to equal these powerful pirates, then the Fleet Admiral would most certainly be stronger than them. The fact is that the only Marine currently, apart from Garp and Sengoku, who can rival the Yonko is Fleet Admiral Sakazuki. If any of the Admirals are on the same level as the Yonko, it is most definitely going to be him. The others, while strong, will not have it in them to rival these powerful pirates and will have to settle for the number 2s and number 3s. That's a wrap for this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back with more amazing videos very soon.